Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Let's Play Final Fantasy 1 on the NES. My name is Zane, better known as the King Bahamut. In the last episode, we defeated the Lich at the Earth Cave, and finally got the first of our orbs restored. In this episode, we are going to be setting off for the next leg of our journey. Real quick, I just want to mention that I got a bunch of items. 15 houses, 99 heal potions, 30 pure potions, and 20 soft potions. I don't think that anything else has changed, in terms of, like, equipment or magic. But yeah, that's what we're looking like. So, in this episode, we're going to start by fighting enemies. Hang on just a sec. Alright, sorry about that. That's not the correct menu I want. I want to bring up the world map real quick. So, from where we currently are in Melmond, indicated by that giant cross there, we have to go south and then west to reach the town of Crescent Lake. Because that is the next place we need to go on our journey. There's something very important for us there. And then I think we're actually going to attempt to reach the next dungeon, which is technically an optional dungeon, but it is very important that you complete this dungeon, even if it's not technically required for story progression. So, if I can bring up the map again. So once you've reached about this this point on the world map, you want to sail west, and after a sizable amount of time has passed, because of the world being round, you will reach the other side of the continent and fight more Kaizokus. Give me just a second here. Something I didn't mention is that Kaizokus, as you can see, give a pretty sizable chunk of experience and money. Alright, so now that we are at the eastern edge of the southern continent, we can go around here and fight some trolls. And that should put us in the vicinity of Crescent Lake. So with any luck, as soon as this battle is over, we'll be able to check. Oh, for the love of... These trolls are very intent on killing me. Can't say I'm surprised. These are Peninsula of Power enemies, as I have said at least a few times before. Crap. Cast Ice to try and hit this guy. Risa used Cure 2 on me, and Lewis just nuke him with Fire 3. Okay, so that guy's dead. That guy's dead, and not a moment too soon. I will say, you probably are going to want to have more gold than I currently have, because, as you might expect, we have a new town coming up, and that means that we have new equipment and magic to buy. Excuse me. So as you can see, the reason it's called Crescent Lake is because it's a crescent-shaped lake that surrounds the town. I'm just going to run from these guys. Alright, so you want to cut across this patch of forest, go around, and enter the town. Welcome to Crescent Lake. So, real quick, let's check the weapon and armor shops. Now, I believe that most of this equipment is somewhat outdated, except for the silver helm, and the buckler is also a very good piece of equipment. I'm going to wait just a moment and before I attempt to buy anything. So let's talk to some townspeople real quick. Light warriors, you can do it! Let's go up here and talk to this bloke. Zzz. He's just asleep. The weapon shop, again, most of these pieces of equipment are outdated. The silver axe is actually stronger than the silver sword that I currently have equipped to Brian, but it's also got a worse hit rate, so I don't really recommend it. I believe that the rest of the town is over here. Yes. We have this circle of old dudes. So let's talk to each of them. We, the 12 sages, were led here by the stars and prophecy. I am Lucan. Now all legends and prophecy will be fulfilled. Our path has been decided. Once the orb shined with the power of earth, wind, fire, and water. The 4 fiends seized those powers. Great job vanquishing the earth fiend. Now the fire fiend wakes. With this canoe, go to the volcano and defeat that fiend also. So we now have a canoe, which doesn't show up in our inventory, but it's a very important item. Earth, wind, fire, and water. The world is bound by these 4 powers. Quickly, before all is burnt, hurry to Gurgu Volcano and stop the Fiend of Fire. Light warriors, only you can make the orb shine again. Each element's power focuses at its altar. Locate and then crush the fiend. Then, to make it shine, place the orb on the altar it guarded. 4 fiends are bent on the world's destruction. 200 years ago, the Fiend of Wind teamed with that of water to destroy civilization. As you restore light to the orbs, we will reveal more secrets. Please see us repeatedly. The Fire Fiend will burn everything up. The Earth Fiend causes the rot of our land. Well, not anymore, because he's dead. So now that we have the canoe, we can actually go and make progress. But I'm going to real quick visit the armor shop and take a moment to upgrade my equipment. Well, actually, before I do that, I want to stop off at the magic. So, all of the magic spells here cost 20,000 gold pieces, which is very much outside of our capacity to own. But we have the Lightning 3 spell, Rub, an instant death spell, Quake, a party-wide instant death spell to your enemy team, and Stun, which can paralyze enemies. All of these spells are pretty good. I will say that you're probably going to want the Lightning 3 spell first, before you get anything else. And then we also have the White Magic shop here, which has the Soft spell, which cures petrification, The Exit spell, which is very, very useful. It allows you to escape dungeons instantly, but you cannot purchase it for any characters that you have yet. You will be able to purchase it very, very soon, but do keep it in mind for later. Fog 2, which boosts your party's defense, and Invisible 2, which boosts their evasion. Again, all 4 of these spells are very good, and I recommend that once you have the gold, that you purchase everything here if you want to have an easier time, especially the Soft spell. That can potentially help you... excuse me, I keep burping. The Soft spell can potentially help you a lot with preserving the amount of soft potions you have to use in an area coming up. But real quick, I want to take a minute to double check my equipment and upgrade it. So give me just a sec. Okay, now we're back. I got the buckler for myself, and I got Brian the silver gauntlet and silver helmet. And pretty much everything else is looking the same. So give me just a minute to stop off at the inn, and I will be ready to depart for the next area. So now that that's done, get in a battle with Peeds immediately after exiting the town, because of course we do. So give me just a sec. Okay, that was actually kind of an annoying battle. I recommend you run from those Peeds if you should encounter them, because they have a surprisingly high amount of health and they can poison your characters. But anyways, now that we have the canoe, if we step onto these lake and stream tiles, we can now row across them. And this actually has a bit more significance than you might think, because it means that we can actually, if we go towards a stream from our ship out on the ocean, then we can actually immediately transition to rowing on our canoe, which means that we no longer have to dock our ship at ports specifically. We can actually disembark our boat at streams. And that's important because if you remember way back, we had a townsperson in, I believe it was Provoca, who said that there are no ports on the northern continents, so we would not have been able to dock our ship there if we had attempted to go there. So we now have the ability to go to the northern continents and see what is there. And that is actually where we are going to be going, because there's some potentially really interesting stuff that can be found on the northern continent. As soon as I am able to run away from this battle, please get away from the annoying paralysis monsters. Okay, so what we want to do is follow the coast north. Hang on, let me check my map. So we want to go roundabouts towards where the Temple of the Fiends is, which is on the northern part of the southern central continent. And then we want to go straight north from there. So I'm actually going to cut away until I reach that point on the map. Alright, so we've reached the Temple of the Fiends, and like I said, we want to sail north from there. And after a little bit of time, we will encounter monsters. And we finally have reached land at the northern continent. So I think that we want to go around here. Okay, so that castle surrounded by marshlands is where we want to go. But I have to find a stream to dock at. So give me just a sec. Okay, so I remembered it now. So we want to sail west around, row across this lake or stream, get in a fight with some sphinxes. Give me just a second here. Now, thankfully, because I had some foresight before coming here, I actually bought a bunch of houses, and that means I can be a little bit more reckless with what spells I cast, because I can use a house to get all my spell charges back before going in. Now, this dungeon here is known as the Castle of Ordeals. It is a completely optional dungeon. You do not have to come here, but I do highly recommend coming here. Talk to this guy. Possession of the crown is required to test your courage. Take it to the royal throne and bring back proof of your courage. Good luck. And he disappears. Okay. So this dungeon here, I don't remember this dungeon terribly well off the top of my head. But I think it's pretty straightforward, actually, in terms of its layout. So what we want to do is go in here, go onto the throne, and we get warped. Now, I think we have a bit of a teleportation maze where we want to go onto these pillars here. I'm going to check the bottom one first. Like I said, I don't remember this dungeon as well as I would like. Whoop. We have enemies. We have Medusas here, and as you might guess, they can indeed petrify you, so be careful. Thankfully, never mind, not thankfully, Lewis just got petrified there, which is like a less serious version of death. Less serious because you can indeed use a... Oh, you can't use a soft potion in battle. That's kind of annoying, actually. That's awkward. Let's just bop this Medusa. Thankfully, it's comparatively easy to cure compared to, death, but I am very lost here. Oh, we have Zomble. A Zomble, excuse me. So we're finally reaching the point of the game where you're expected to fight the monsters that you can you can find at the Peninsula of Power, which, depending on how... considering that we've been basically using those monsters as a means to grind, it's not too much of an issue. So we have a treasure chest here, and I believe we have a booby trap. Yes, we do. We have mud golems here. These things... I think they have a decent amount of attack, but other than that, they're not really all that interesting to talk about, from what I remember at least. Let's cast Fire 3. Oh, they can use Fast on themselves. That's kind of terrifying. And I think they resist fire, so that may not have been the best thing to go for. But Brian can just knock this guy out. Cast Ice 2. That did a little bit more than the fire spell. But I think we can just gang up on this guy and use our physical attacks to knock him out. Yep, there we go. Alright, open this treasure chest. And we get the Zeus Gauntlet. This is an incredible piece of equipment. I don't know if I can... Whoop. Oh, my cursor just went bye-bye there. I can't equip that at the moment to my... Oh, the flickering is not registering. I'm going to give that to Lewis for the minute. The Zeus Gauntlet is the first example we have of a usable piece of equipment, which means that if you use it in battle, it will cast a Lightning 2 spell on all of your enemies. And this is incredible. It allows you to essentially give every one of your characters, or I should say, it will allow Lewis to save his MP for a little bit. So it's a very, very useful spell. And it means, this is one of the things that helps make mages a little bit better in this game, is that you do have pieces of equipment that you can use to cast spells which will allow you to save on spell charges, which is very, very useful because with how limited spell charges are, you get 9 at maximum, and you can't get that many for all of your different tiers of spells. So, whenever you encounter a piece of equipment like that, make use of it, because it's gonna be extremely helpful. We have some level ups here for me, for Brian, for Risa. Let's hold the A button down to speed through this as much as we can. None for Lewis, though, because he got petrified, which means that he's gonna be a little bit behind in terms of his experience that he's getting. We have this room here, which is completely pointless. And I think that just took us around in a circle. I may just take a minute to double check where I'm going, because I think I'm getting lost. So, give me just a moment. Alright, while making my way back to where we were, Lewis got a level up, so he's finally caught up with the rest of us. Okay, so I think I want to go in this one. This just took me back to... Oh! These things! I didn't think we were going to encounter these sorcerers until later. If you encounter these things, nuke them with everything you have right out of the gate. They are obnoxious otherwise. These sorcerers have the ability to basically inflict instant death on you with their regular attacks. There's another dungeon coming up where they are all over the place, and as you can imagine, it is a very unpleasant dungeon to trek through. So hopefully I will be able to get rid of these guys as soon as possible. Brian gets rid of one of them. I can also use Trance, which... Oh, that inflicts paralysis. That's kind of obnoxious. And it's doubly obnoxious when the attack that probably would have knocked them out just got negated. Lewis was about to use the Zeus Gauntlet on them. Alright. Got rid of one of them. Oh! See what I mean? They have the ability to paralyze your party, and they can just randomly one-shot you if you're not lucky. This is bad. This is bad. Isa, please knock this guy out. No, that's not knocking him out. That's missing. I just need One of my characters... Okay, there we go. Ugh. Sorcerers suck. Hate them so much. Thankfully, I actually remembered this time that I have a life spell, which is somewhat useful, except for the fact that it only restores a character with 1 HP. Now, unfortunately, there is no way to restore a dead party member in battle. You have to wait until you're out of battle in order to cast the life spell, which is a little stupid if you ask me, but thankfully I don't have to schlep all the way back to a clinic in order to revive myself if I get knocked to the floor. Alright. So let's try and get back to where we were just a moment ago. Go to this one. Alright, back to where we were. I believe it's one of these two. For fuck's sake. Hold on a sec. I'm gonna check my guide while I'm waiting for this battle to end. Okay, so we want to go on this pillar here. And then that will take us to the next floor. I believe that from here on out, it's a relatively straight shot. But we do have a required battle here, a booby-trapped floor, against these nightmares. I don't know if they have a particular weakness to anything. I don't think it matters too much, because we can just use powerful magic. So, alright, so they didn't take too much from that lightning spell. Oh, they have surprisingly high defense. I don't know what that snorting attack does. Good grief, they are surprisingly resilient buggers. Cast Ice 2. Brian, hit this one. Rysa just bopped this guy. Lewis just used the Zeus Gauntlet. This dungeon is surprisingly a bit more of a challenge than I remember it being. I remember this not necessarily being an easy dungeon, but not as much of a ball ache as it has been. Oh, so they're weak to ice. Okay. That would have been good to know. Alright. So, this treasure chest here contains a heal staff. That is another fantastic piece of equipment. I am going to give that to Rysa. That's a free heal spell. It is the weak level 1 heal, admittedly, but it's still a free heal spell, which can be very useful. So these treasure chests here, an iron gauntlet, an ice sword, and I think that means we are out of space in our armor inventory. So hang on, I'm going to get rid of this iron gauntlet, because it's probably not going to sell for that much. Get a gold bracelet. That is one of the best pieces of body armor for our mages at the moment. So I'm going to give that to Rysa so that she can survive a few more attacks. Oh no! Nope. I am noping the hell out of this. Give me a minute. Okay, thankfully I was able to run away from that. Ooh, do not like fighting sorcerers. Over here we have gold, more gold, a house to replace the one that I used, and an empty treasure box. Okay, so through here, we go to this treasure chest. We get a tail. Now if we check what that is, tail. Oh, it stinks. Throw it over. No, don't do that. It's a rat's tail. And we also have a booby trap panel. And we have zombie dragons. Zombie dragons are honestly probably the easiest thing to fight here. They are dangerous because they can hit for quite a bit of damage, but also being undead enemies, that also means that they are weak to fire and the harm spell. Oh, but they can paralyze you. That's kind of a big deal. And they deal a pretty hefty chunk of damage, but thankfully we can just pelt them with Fire 3 and Harm 2 and Fire 2. With any luck, that will be enough to put them down. Yep. Already got rid of one of them. For getting rid of those monsters, we get a decent chunk of gold and experience. So they can be a decent grinding option, but honestly, I don't really recommend it. So, we've got the tail, so let's get out of this dungeon, please. Okay, and let's use a house. That doesn't quite restore me to full, but it does mean that I have my spell charges back. Alright, so... Oh, god damn it. Getting ambushed by hydras. I don't think these hydras have any special noteworthy abilities, and they're actually not hitting for all that much damage. I believe that because they are enemies that you would normally encounter in rivers, that they are weak to lightning. So the Zeus Gauntlet is actually a fortuitous bit of equipment to have. And Brian can just melt them. Well, that didn't do anywhere near as much damage as I was hoping for. Please just get rid of them. Alright. So with that out of the way, I want to sail back to Crescent Lake and buy some spells, because we have another dungeon coming up that I am not going to do in this recording session, because just gonna say right now, the dungeon that we have coming up is an exceptionally shitty dungeon. I will say that if you can clear the dungeon that we have coming up, there will be the game is going to get a hell of a lot better very, very soon, but it's a bigger if than you think, because the dungeon we have coming up is notoriously difficult. So I will meet you back at Crescent Lake, and we'll see if the pile of money we obtained from the Castle of Ordeals can get us some new stuff. Alright, back at Crescent Lake. Let's stop off at the inn real quick. Okay, so we have about, not quite, 40,000 gold. So, I'm gonna buy the soft spell for Risa real quick, and then I'm going to do, I'm gonna take a second and do a little bit of grinding outside of the town. And we'll see if we can get some, get the Lightning 3 spell for Lewis. So give me just a sec. Okay, back once more. And let's purchase Lightning 3 for Lewis. And I believe that will have to do for this recording session, because I don't want to do the next dungeon quite yet. But yeah, we're all healed up. We've got some new magic to play with. Excuse me, I'm burping a whole bunch still. So, yeah, next time on Let's Play Final Fantasy 1, we will seek out the next dungeon on our list, the Ice Cave. And boy howdy am I not looking forward to the Ice Cave. Because of how badly some of these dungeons have been kicking my butt throughout this LP. The Ice Cave is probably going to be a very bad time, but so I hope you're looking forward to that. Until then, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed this part. Hit the subscribe button and notification to stay updated if you feel compelled to watch more of this series. And yeah, I will see you next time. Until then, my name is Zane, better known as the King Bahamut. See you later.